What's up? So I have the Cajun Ninja with me today, man. How are you?
I'm great, man. How are you?
I'm making it, dude. It's just another day, another dollar.
That's what they say.
Well, you're officially my first mobile guest. You're in there out there grinding today, so
That is correct, man. Yeah, I had all the intentions of the world of putting the old laptop up. I have a nice mic, I'm prepared to use for these type of things. And then this morning I got hit with these different grocery stores that wanted more seasoning. And I was like, oh my gosh. So yeah, we've been on the roads all day. I got my whole family. I got my wife right here, So that's how we doing it.
Hey man, a full-time hustle. I love it. That's one reason why I want to have you on. But yeah, man, let's just jump right into it. So a lot of people, you have a big following. A lot of people don't know, probably that are on my side, don't know exactly who you are. But can we just talk about the beginning? I know you were into martial arts, then you got into cooking and all that. So can you just give me a breakdown of that?
Yeah, so really, like, this whole page kind of came about because I really love entertainment. Since I was a kid, I've loved like acting and comedy and just making people laugh and interacting with my fellow man. So when I decided to make a page back in 2016, I really had no clue what direction I was going in. I knew I enjoyed cooking and making people laugh, making comedy type stuff, but nothing was really on my radar. So I started out doing kind of like funny little videos, and then one day I decided to just cook gumbo and threw it on that page. And around that same time, the whole Disney gumbo thing was kind of taking off. It had a life of its own of like someone who made a video using quinoa and all these different herbs and things that people didn't traditionally put in gumbo. And it kind of went viral for all the wrong reasons. So when I posted mine, and what's funny is everybody thought maybe I was posting it to put the caption, "Take notes, Disney." The thing is like my video went viral instead of generic gumbo that I'm used to making. It went viral because there was an opinion from everybody on whether it was right, whether it was wrong, whether it was good, whether it was bad. And that blew the comments up. And that's what made my page take off. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to keep cooking. And here we are.
Man, well, I mean, it's crazy how that happens, though. You just, leverage that attention. But it is always interesting. Anytime I'm big into cooking, I smoke a lot of meat. I like to cook. Anytime you get into the gumbo debacle, man, there's always a lot of argument going on there.
Oh, yeah. Look, the crazy thing about Louisiana is like different variation of every dish we know, and that may be every state, I'm sure everybody's got their own Philly cheesesteak up there up north, but like, and they all be spectacular, so I'll always love that about Louisiana.
Yeah, man, it's very interesting how that happens. It's a lot of people want to put the rice, or you got to put the potato salad. I feel like that's the biggest argument there.
Oh yeah, I got a buddy of mine, Joe Boudreaux. If you have to see this, shout out Joe. He's been kind of getting popular locally around the town I grew up in because he's been like telling everyone they're wrong for putting potato salad in the gumbo. When you create that kind of controversy, you're bound to get some noise in your comment section.
Oh yeah. Well, so how did the name Cajun Ninja? What's your background in martial arts?
So I'm currently a 4th degree black belt in Taekwondo. I've always had a huge passion for mixed martial arts, love the sport, watched it since it started. Currently taking jiu-jitsu with Next Generation in Thibodeau. Just a little one-stripe white belt, getting my butt kicked over there all the time. But man, those guys are awesome. Love those guys. I have a huge passion for martial arts and what it brings to the mind, the body, the spirit. Martial arts really stands for, humility and respect, learning to be, confident, have self-control. I feel like just these are all things you can apply to anything you do in life. It doesn't have to necessarily be kicking or punching. Anything you do in life, you have to have patience. You have to be humble. You got to be kind to the people that you interact with. You can't go so hard all in right away, and all the things I've learned from martial arts, I've been able to attribute to the things I do now with my cooking.
Yeah, man, I couldn't agree more. I feel like that. I got into I was late into the martial art. How long have you been doing it?
I started doing Taekwondo when I was 8 years old, but
Okay.
like my dad, he was a black belt down here, and he had me kicking like out the womb, So I was doing there's old videos of me like 2 years old with a Chuck Norris school bag and doing kicks like I don't even know, So it's just always been a part of my life.
Yeah, man, it's great. It's always nice to run into someone who's been in the game, and seen it evolve to what it is now, and I know you're a huge advocate for MMA and Louisiana MMA. We have Dustin Poirier, Daniel Cormier, and I always see you shouting them boys out, and man, I just love it. I love what the sport's done, and then the traditional martial arts blending in with what we take in today now.
Oh yeah, man. The thing about to me with Louisiana is I feel like it's the Ireland of the United States. Like we love our people here. We love our culture. We drink beer and sing songs. We are just the island of the United States. So whenever our boys go out there to war in the ring, we cheering them on. Like no matter what they've gone through in their life, they represent our state and our culture, and for that reason, we cheer them on.
Heck yeah, man. Well, what you got brewing lately, man? What's some of the stuff you got coming up with in the kitchen? Anything new you want to talk about? I know you got that new seasoning out too.
Yeah, there's several different recipes that I still would like to kind of jump on with and get done. One people always ask for is crawfish bisque. I have a seafood stuffed bell pepper that I haven't done. A couple different desserts I'd probably like to dabble with, but my seasoning has kept me very busy. And by the grace of the people who follow the page, I mean, obviously that is what makes this whole thing continue to roll here is the people who support this page. I'm always grateful. And that's why I'm always talking to them every day. I'm in the comments, I'm in the messages. If I've got the time out of my day to take to respond to the people, I am doing it because they are absolutely keeping this thing going. And I'm very thankful. But yeah, Paya season, that's my season right here. My wife and I, we both, worked, tirelessly tasting different things we concocted in the kitchen. And came up with one. It took really about 2 years, which is in Louisiana.
So how does it stack up with the Slap Your Mom and your Tony Chachere's?
I don't think you can really compare to those guys yet. Like they are on another level, right? Like, if you're gonna go taste wise, like that to me is always going to be one's preference. I can never sit and say, "Oh, it's so much better." Da, da, da. Like I'm not going to be that guy because at the end of the day, it's going to be up to you to try it and decide whether or not you like it. If you think it's better, if you think it's worse, and even then, when you come to your own opinion on it, it still isn't etched in stone. The next person tries it, they're going to say something completely different. For what I can say about it that I love that we did, we have the flavor of salt there. Obviously, that's always a big flavor when it comes to the leading brands of the seasonings. But I love the kick that it has as far as the spice and the good hint of garlic in there. I'm very happy with the balance of all the flavors that are in it, and I'm thankful for the people that try it.
Yeah, man, being a native, Louisiana native, I feel like I love the spice. Some people don't, and abroad, I'm sure it's different, but that right hint of cayenne, I feel like does it. You know what I mean? Like you got to have that in there.
Yeah, well, like I did a lot of research, and things that are spicy actually release endorphins in our brain, and it's to really like to tone the pain, but the endorphins make us happy. And there's a reason why so many people love hot sauce and hot peppers and all these things that are spicy, because like secretively, without knowing, we're happy when we eat it. It's like a natural antidepressant. So yeah, I definitely wanted that good kick of cayenne in there. And of course, with a name like Paya, it had to have a little something,
Yeah. Heck yeah, man. So is this something you're doing full time now, or is this still a side hustle thing? I feel like it's blown up to where you're so busy, man. Where you at on that?
Yeah, so when the page really kind of started to take off and monetization was a thing on Facebook and YouTube, I was able to do this full time. It's been a full-time job. The crazy thing is like most people don't realize how much of a job it is, when you got the public hitting you on a daily basis. I mean, I really don't take a day off from this. My wife will tell you we're on vacation, weekends. If there's a free moment, I'm responding to people. But the seasoning, that is becoming a whole nother job where, I have to fit in these times of distributing my product. And then I have my own dojo down in Homa. So, I teach Taekwondo. So I have that committed twice a week where, 3 hours out of those days, I'm teaching students. So, yeah, my plate's pretty full.
Yeah, man. And that's something too. I had no idea. I didn't know, I only knew you from the cooking and the seasoning. I knew that you were into Taekwondo and you still were active, but I didn't even know you were still, were teaching. So that's amazing in itself. That's another full-time job. And the fact that, I mean, you got to be, I can see you're passionate about family. I feel like y'all are one big team. You're always doing it together.
Yeah, I want these girls to like see and remember this, like what it took, the effort you have to put in to grow something and to make it thrive and be successful, so this is really cool for me to kind of start a family business, with me and my wife kind of leading the way and them being part of that train,
Yeah, man, I think that's, you started it, you just like you said earlier, keeping up in the comments, keeping your audience engaged and actually caring, because a lot of people may have took that, got on top, got busy, got all the attention and just forget about who made them. You know what I mean? Who was there the whole time to bring them up.
Yeah, I agree. It was a big deal to me before I really even dropped anything. I'd always have people saying, you should sell this, or you should make your own season, or when you're going to make a cookbook, and I would have loved to just throw those things out there. And I understand there are paths you can take where you can do that fairly quickly, but I wanted to do it right. I wanted to make sure I put my own tone and everything. I put my own creativity, the spice. I wanted to be like what I would know and love that I'd use in my own kitchen. I did that with my little paella spatula. I researched far before I found one that I liked. With the seasoning, we tasted many concoctions before we came up with one we liked. And with the cookbook, I really want a certain amount of recipes, and I want to do it right. I want it to look nice and be something that you can keep and maybe even hand down.
Yeah, dude, that's an amazing point too. Because as you grow, you always get hit up by those companies that want you to rep their stuff or to to go ahead and take that shortcut and not authenticate it to your brand. So, I mean, that's something else that speaks volume, is being patient and making it right, knowing that this is some sort of legacy for you, not just like a shortcut to, getting some attention.
Yeah, for sure. That you could literally take on a product almost every day. I mean, everybody's got a thing that they're trying to push, and I didn't want to be somebody who just cash grab, and yeah, look, I've had some sponsored deals that I've taken, and for what it's worth, I feel like I've always done something that I would at least use.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I do from now on. Like if there's somebody who presents something to me, like I really want to research it and know if it was something I would at least use. I mean, I do believe in the art of selling, which is, if you're good enough to sell something, at the end of the day, there's always somebody out there who will find a need for it. But as I grew as an influencer, I realized that I didn't want to be just a salesman. I wanted to be somebody who was sharing the things that I loved and I was passionate about.
Yeah, man. Once you get to that level, it's like you continue to just rep or you go your own way, and going on your own way means way more to me, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Everyone has their opinion on how they want to do things, but going your own way is something you're behind, you're passionate about. And man, the spatula thing. So tell me why you chose like what you use, like, because I know people were weird about wood versus metal versus plastic. Where you at on that?
Yeah, so what I went with was bamboo.
Okay.
And I had my catchphrase "Paya" stamped on there with my little Cajun Ninja logo. And the reason why I went with bamboo is because it's very light in weight. It's a very strong material, and it doesn't hold bacteria. So you can actually cook with it with some ground beef or your vegetables. It's versatile. And this one in particular, I like the curvature of it, and it's also kind of flat on the top, so it's kind of good for making a roux and also getting around the curves of the pot or the pan. So yeah, I was very happy with this little thing right here.
Yeah, man, I like the unique shape of it. I got to get one of those. I got to try the seasoning too. Real quick, man, you mentioned a couple words people are not going to know. I know because I'm here. but Roux and Bisque. Can you elaborate on each one of them a little bit?
Yeah, so roux, I mean, it depends where you're from, right? Because like people in other parts of the country, like a roux is butter and flour,
Yeah.
But down here, we've known for making roux with oil and flour. And then where you go with the roux is completely based on the dish you're making. If you want to make in like a biscuits and gravy, you would make a white roux, which is not much cooking of the flour and oil, and probably adding some dairy to it to make like the white gravy. Now, if you want to make like a gumbo or a stew, you'd make a darker roux, which you'd cook down the flour and oil for a long period of time until you got it to a very dark color. And then adding stock from there would kind of lighten it up a little bit. But ultimately, you'd get that good brown color of a gumbo or that dark gravy of a stew. And some people say they can make a roux real fast. Hey, kudos to you. I've always found that low and slow balances it all out a lot better. Because to me, at the end of the day, you're cooking little bitty tiny bits of flour. And in order for it to all cook evenly, it has to be low and slow. But hey, you get it dark and you love it fast, go for it. As far as a bisque, I mean, it's really weird for me. I don't know. Like, I don't know if I'm one to really be the one who defines it. Because like crawfish bisque is almost like crawfish, these stuffed crawfish heads that have like a crawfish stuffing stuffed into them. It's a very popular dish down here. But then I've also seen like a corn and crawfish bisque, which is like a soup. It's like a creamy soup, usually made with heavy amounts of dairy. I usually make a butter roux for that. So those are my two variations of bisque that I know of. But don't hold me to any defining, words of it.
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, that's a good definition. I feel like for people who have no idea, because people hear those terms and be like, "What's that?" So tell me this: how did you get into being passionate about cooking? Is this something you grew up doing in the kitchen, hanging out with the family, or?
Yeah, so like I think it's always been more about the passion of tasting food.
Okay.
I love like food just in general. My mom's a good cook. She would cook pretty often when we were younger, and I always loved how things just came together, like a crawfish etouffee, or smothered pork chops, or something like that. And then my dad, he loved watching food. Like he would watch Emeril Lagasse every night. Bam was it. Like in our house, there was no paya, was just Bam. He'd watch that all the time. Food Network was just always on. So I think like subconsciously, these things were just implanted in me, the good taste of food, and then like just seeing people cooking often. But I tell you, man, I was not growing up with this idea that I was going to be a chef or that I was going to cook for people online. To be quite honest, like I went through many like trial and errors throughout my 20s. Like my first roux I ever did, I used a plastic spatula and melted it into the pot, Like I completely screwed up cooking so many times that like when I was finally getting good at it and I was making things that I thought tasted really good, I thought, you know what, I'm just going to post these. And who knew that the gift of sharing is how you really start getting back. We're told these things, but it really holds true. If you have like these secrets that you're not trying to let anybody know, you could be missing out on a lot.
Yeah, dude, I think that's so interesting too, because there's always people that are like, "Oh, I'm not going to tell you about this, man. I'll tell you everything." I mean, I'm not no 5-star cook or anything, but like if I try something and everyone says it's amazing, why not tell everyone? We're here to share it. I feel like cooking and eating, is a sense of celebration,
Yeah, absolutely, man. And the thing about food and cooking, it often brings people together.
Yeah.
So like it's always fascinating to me when I hear someone say, "Oh, that's my secret recipe," and I'm like, "Wow, you're missing out on the real secret of life, which is to interact with your fellow man and really get to love and appreciate one another."
Yeah, man, I couldn't agree more. So, do you do any barbecuing?
Not much, man. I tell you, I wish I did though, because I really respect and appreciate good barbecue. That is an art right there. For people who do it with coals or wood or pellets or just the old gas grill, it is an art to get that just right, man. And I really love some good barbecue, but I can't say it's something that I've dabbled in much.
Okay. Yeah, man, I'm a big advocate. I just recently got into it the past few years, but I feel like it's something somewhat of a you make it attest to this too, but somewhat of a therapy. You know what I mean? when you can slow down and just focus on something.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I feel the same way like when I make a roux, you know?
Yeah. Do you so aside from being on camera and always cooking in front of the camera, are there any things that anything that you do that you don't display to people that in the kitchen?
You mean like as far as what happens during the cooking process?
Yeah, man, or just or things you may cook that you don't share with everyone because it may not line up with your brand.
No, man, I'm pretty much an open book, now there could be things that I might have like made before that I was like, oh, this thing is not good,
Yeah.
and so I just toss it, but like, if I've got something to share, I put it out there. But if you're saying like along the lines of something that's just completely different with what my page does,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't necessarily think I have a lot of content on martial arts, but I do share it, like if I've done something recently, or if there's something, that I have an opinion on about MMA, I'll share it. I don't necessarily want to get into the mindset of feeling like I have to upload what the people want to see. I want to be in the mindset of uploading what I know and love.
Right.
And that way, the people who always follow and tune in, they're going to know that they're following and tuning in because this is what I enjoy. And ultimately, they're following and tuning in because they enjoy it too.
Yeah.
So it's like a win-win. I think if you get caught in that rat race of constantly trying to upload what you think your following wants, you lose out on true happiness.
Man, I couldn't agree more. I think that a lot of people do that. They fall in that rut where they're making something and people start following them for a reason. That's the reason they're there. And then they lose track of that because they're so caught up in what these other people who are coming in, and they think what they need to do. And then they make an adjustment and then you lose who you are. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I've had people like message when I do post something that's different or, it has nothing to do with cooking. They'll say, I follow this page for cooking, not this. And then they'll put like, I'm unfollowing. And I'm like, well, it's not an airport. You don't have to announce your departure, I mean, go find something else to watch, like there's literally a million other channels and things you can watch. If watching something that is not what you wanted to see on my page pop up annoys you, then yes, you should go. You should watch something else. I don't think anybody should stick around when they're miserable, you know? So that's my theory on it, and I'm pretty open about that, I'm there's way too many good comments and good messages for me to keep up with on a daily basis to try and keep a negative person happy.
Yeah.
So that's my thoughts on it.
I mean, yeah, I align with that completely 100%. What's your favorite dish to cook?
Man, I don't know if I would necessarily have a favorite dish, but maybe cooking wise, I do love making crawfish etouffee because it's pretty easy. It's not a very complicated dish and the flavors are so unique to South Louisiana. Like I've never gone anywhere else and had crawfish etouffee and thought, oh, that tastes just like South Louisiana.
Yeah.
Or even a dish in general that I thought tasted like crawfish etouffee. It's just such a unique dish and I love it so much. It's just so savory. So that would be one I'd put high on the list.
Yeah, man, I think that it's hard it's funny because we're only a few hours apart, but it's the difference of the flavor and the taste of food where you're at. And then by the time it makes it up here, it's just bland. It's not even good anymore, man. It's like when people, I say like, they hear Louisiana, they're like, oh, you from down there, you Cajun. I'm like, no, I mean, we're really not, you got to go down there a little bit further to get some good food.
Yeah, look, I don't knock North Louisiana, man, when it comes to food. I've eaten some good food while I was there. I think things are just different and you kind of get used to your preferences. I know we were eating gumbo somewheres and the gentleman we were with was like just kind of asking, inquiring what I thought, like really wanted honest opinion. I said, well, look, for me, and this is just my preference, I like a thinner gumbo. For me, I want gumbo to be a little different from stew. And I think I even asked a guy there, I said, well, what's the difference between your stew and your gumbo? And he's like, I didn't know there was a difference. He's like, yes, definitely. Stew to me is kind of a thick gravy, whereas gumbo is almost like a soup-like dish.
Yeah.
But look, people will tell you, if they hear me say that, they'll tell you I'm wrong. They'll say, no, gumbo is thick. We are a product of what we have learned and tried, so I'm always telling people on my page, you do you. And also don't be afraid to try something new. You know, I don't like these cooking bullies who say, no, that's not how it's done. All right.
Right.
Well, it's just not how you do it. You know,
Yeah.
I'm always about like, look, try new things. If you want to throw some ketchup in your ice cream, go for it. I don't think it's for me, but hey, you might discover something in yourself that says, oh my gosh, these two flavors are amazing. You know, so that's why I'm always like, just in this mindset of like, well, let's do this. Let's see what happens, you know?
No, I mean, that's a
So
good
that's why
thing.
I don't knock North Louisiana. North Louisiana has their own way of doing things, and I'm completely thankful for it, because I tell people often, with the people of North Louisiana, to me it's a lot like South Louisiana, just a different accent.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is like, it's just different. Like whenever I think of Cajun, I think of South Louisiana. You know, if I'm talking about these dishes, there are things up here we do different. That's good. I'm the type of person, when I go on
Yeah.
trips, I build my trip around eating. I love to try new things. I love to try different
Me
things.
too.
When I go to those towns, I want to try the little hole in the wall. I don't want to try the big tourist attraction. You know what I mean? Because I know the hole in the wall is going to have the real, you know, the real taste of that area.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of times they got grandma cooking in the back, you know, and that's what I'm down for too. I want to taste these family recipes, you know, on a pot that's been seasoned for the last 50 years. You know, I think that is such a unique thing, you know. These experiences, these life experiences, I think are the true gift of life, you know. Everybody's trying to accumulate so much more so they can have this stockpile later on in life, but I feel like every little bit that you can taste and try now, today, is really what people should be harnessing on all the time.
So I agree. You talk about seasoning and taste. So those are the official taste testers in the back there.
Oh yeah, yeah. You girls like daddy's food? Yeah, they do. It's so funny because we stopped off at a little place called Spars today. My wife loves getting their roast beef po' boy. And the way they do it is it's like a roast, you know, like well, obviously roast beef po' boy, but people like think roast beef and they think sliced roast beef.
Yeah.
But you know, down here when we think of roast beef po' boy, we're thinking of like chunks of meat, you know, with that gravy. And so my little girl, my oldest, was like, Daddy, you make this? And I was like, yeah, baby, I made this. And she goes, you need to make it again. I said, all right, when we get home, I'll make some.
Heck yeah, dude.
Yeah, it's fun.
That's and that's awesome too. I love that y'all are so involved. Like, so do you? Of course, I'm sure you test everything out with the family. Do they all have to approve before something rolls out? How does that work?
So the funny thing is, a lot of the dishes that I did early on, like I just was doing them, you know. There were some dishes that I had not even really done before, but people wanted to see them, and I was like, well, let me research these dishes. So I researched different ones that were made. I knew I never wanted to plagiarize nobody else's work, so I'd have to kind of come up with my own way of how I would do it. And I know specifically like chicken sauce piquant, I was like making, I was like, all right, guys, you're gonna want to do this next and do this. And I'd hit the video stop. I turned to my wife and I go, this is gonna suck. You know, I was like, this is not gonna be good. And then for whatever reason, by the grace of God, I always kick it up, man. Like the food would cook down and I go, oh my gosh, this really tastes good. You know, so like, you know, that's always fun to say, man, because like people think that I've had just this wild like journey of knowledgeable cooking, but a lot of times I got better during the process of filming. You know, as the page was growing and as I was having to get more content out there, that's how I got better. You know, which is really cool to me because like I heard someone say the other day, like you really don't know what you want to do in life until you try it.
Yeah.
You know, and I thought that was really cool because, you know, people grow up and say, I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. You know, I want to be a basketball player. But you kind of don't know if that's your true passion until you kind of do it. And some of those fields, like you really don't have a choice until you go through all the training and get certified, you know. But for this, you know, I was able to kind of just grow in the process of it, and discover me and discover my own preferences. And the thing I truly learned was not necessarily that I'm good at cooking, but I had a really good palate. You know, I could really taste what needed to be added or where it could be enhanced. And that's where I kind of discovered my own talent in this journey. You know, so I'm really grateful for all the things that have happened and come along the way. And you know, I look forward to where it goes too.
Yeah, it's insane how when you embrace the struggle and the, you know, the trials and the tribulations, and did this work, did this not work, and actually caring about what the end result is, what that, you know, does when your actual content going out. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Um, the thing is too, is like your errors is often what leads to your great success.
Yep.
Like it's because I got this dish to taste so good because I knew this ingredient made it suck. So yeah, and that's for anything. Anything you really do in life, man. There's many people that'll try something, they'll fail at it, and they'll go, well, this ain't for me. And it's like, man, if you really thought it through, you're just getting started.
Yeah.
You've just now collected data. What you realize is what you did the first time doesn't work, at least for you or whatever, or anybody else that you're trying to do it for. But that don't mean the next time will, or the next time will. Our great success comes from many trial and errors.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more, man. I started doing this thinking I could build business off the back of it, and then become a passion of mine, and it just went boom. You know what I mean? I'm like, hey, I actually love this. And then I started caring about it. I'm like, okay, well, if I talk to this person, what do we talk about? What do we do? But I love that we're having real conversation. This isn't an interview. Like, I feel like I don't want to just ask you questions, get canned answers, and then, roll this out. Like, I want to get to know this person. I want everybody to get to know this person, because everyone's following you because who you are. You know what I mean? Your character, you're building a relationship with your following. They need to know the real person before they decide, is this something I want to watch? Is this something I want to eat? You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. For anyone who is wanting to get into the creative content world, which is kind of a lot of people now, it's becoming more and more popular. It's almost harder to even break out and make a name for yourself. But if there's any piece of advice I can give, is just always stay true to what you are, who you are, and what you know and love in life. Just share that. I mean, there's going to be some negativity, always that's the case. But if you don't put yourself out there in the way you know and love life, then the people you garner are never going to be real, to what you're doing. They're going to know and love a different person that probably doesn't even truly exist. You're just creating and fabricating that person to make other people happy. But if you stay true to who you are and your thoughts and ideas and what you love, what you're passionate about, whether, some people love it or some people hate it, the true people who love it are going to always love the real you, and it's so much easier to be the real you than it is to be a fake version of yourself.
Yeah, man. I mean, you get up, you wake up, and this is who I am. You know what I mean? This is who you see. This is what you get. I mean, you can't get no more real than that, authentic and genuine. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, I feel like we're striving for that because we're fed so much, whatever it is, fake stuff, So it's like we're striving to see something that's real and genuine. Someone's not having to put a filter on something. I mean, seeing you guys riding a car and a family, and we're not doing this in front of a green screen or nothing, is amazing to me, because this is real. This is you hustling. You're out there delivering that pie season, and y'all are doing it as a family. It's that's something that's amazing, that I feel like I want everyone to see. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I really appreciate that, man. Because like you could have been like, no, let's get home and be on a mic and what have you, but you took the interview for what it was, and and in the moment of what's real, and yeah, like there's no faking it, man. Like, I'm out there delivering my own stuff, taking pictures in front of buildings. I had somebody say that to me one time, are you like photoshopping yourself in front of these places? And I was like, no, I am showing up. So now I've been putting on my stories on some of the places. I've actually had Bella video me like signing cans, in the store.
I saw that, dude. I saw that. You just randomly went in. I thought that was really cool, man. Because people who are going there to get that stuff, they've seen your stuff, so they gotta appreciate that little touch. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I never know what to really think of that, right? I don't want to be so vain and be like, oh yeah, now it's worth more, but yeah, I know, but I still, like I just do it because I know some people like it. I always tell people, look, I can sign it. I don't know if it'd be worth anything more, but I can sign it. But yeah, no, I love doing those kind of things. It's really cool to me. I love meeting people. A lot of times too, when I meet people in person for the first time, I talk so much that they're eventually like, all right, well, it was nice meeting you. like I got stuff to do, bro. Because like this is genuinely my passion, like just interacting with people. I love it.
Well, man, a couple more things. I'll let you go. I know you're on the road. where can everybody get this seasoning? I know you're distributing it local in Louisiana, and I see you come up, halfway up the state. Can we get it here yet? Is it online?
Where are you out of right now?
I'm in Shreveport right now.
So Tubbs Hardware, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So Mr. Don, he was so gung ho about the seasoning, he went and bought a whole pallet.
Awesome.
So he is stocked over there. Although it's been a few months, I don't know if he's running out. I doubt he is. I mean, he bought a whole pallet because it was funny. He had got 2 cases, and then literally that afternoon, like that it got there, he goes, Jason, I'm gonna need you to send me 7 more. And then like in 2 days, that was gone. And he's like, how much can I get? I said, Mr. Don, if you want, I can mail you a whole pallet from the blender. And he was like, let's do it. So yeah, he's stocked up, man. So anybody in Shreveport, Bossier City, that's the Tubbs Hardware in Bossier City, they have it. But yeah, it's just now hitting Max Fresh Market, which is from Alexandria to Monroe. A lot of that side of North Louisiana was hitting me hard. Like, hey, when you getting in here? And like the thing is, I wish everybody would know is like, it's not as easy as just walking up and putting it on shelf with some of the bigger stores, even just some stores in general. Now, some, it is. You could literally walk in and say, hey, you want to put this? And they'll say, yeah, and they'll cut me a check and bam. But some it's not, so, but I'm always working to get it in places. South Louisiana, I mean, of course, Rouse's has been really huge. They have like 65 locations, and it's from Lake Charles all the way to like Orange Beach, Alabama. So that's been good. Down in even further around where my hometowns are, Canada's, L&N. There's Labourie's in Moreo, Flirty Girl, who has a spot in the airport, and another store in Metairie. Carter's is who I just delivered to today, all over the Baton Rouge, Springfield, Denham Springs area. Man, I could really go on. I know that I don't know how long your show is. I'm thankful because I've got a lot of stores now. And I probably need to start like a thing on my website, which is where you can get it there too, is the CajunNinja.com through Butchiekeys. Butchiekeys is a store down in Houma. They were like one of the first ones to really start selling it. But through the CajunNinja.com, people can go there and buy it. But I probably on that website need to put like a store locator, because it's getting to be so much now that like people want to know where you can get it. I need to put something like that on there, and they can just look and see if it's in their area.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah, I'm working though.
Yeah, that's good, man. Yeah, I'll run down and grab some for sure. I want to try it out because I'm getting to where, and that's another question I have for you. And then I have a lot of listeners abroad that, I definitely, if they're interested, I know I have a lot of foodies out there. They'll probably hit your website up. Okay. Were you at on, you're a man of martial arts. Were you at on healthy cooking and how that, the way of the Cajun method sometimes has a lot of fat and a lot of salt, and so were you at on any, do you have any like lighter dishes? Does everyone hit you up for that? How do you do that?
Yeah, I do get hit up for that, but often when I try to tell people is, look, I'm just not that page.
Yeah.
I make food that is good to you, not necessarily good for you, but I am one who does believe in healthy eating. There's actually a little place down where I'm from in Thibodaux called Healthy Cafe. And the young lady there makes amazing, like healthy dishes. And so I try to eat there, twice a week. It's right next to jiu-jitsu. So I'll like finish jiu-jitsu and go get food there. Cause I do believe in balance. I like to eat the bad food, but occasionally I also mix in a healthy dish throughout the week, whether like my snack is some apples, some grapes or something like that. Or if I eat some fish or a salad, but I will knock out some food that's probably not good for you. That's for sure.
I've gotten that way too, man. I was gung-ho for so long of eating so clean. Now it's about the balance, man. And just work out harder to get off the bad stuff, take it in a little bit, leave and if you're cooking real food, man. Leave the processed stuff in a box alone, and make something from scratch like you do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Fresh is best, but obviously, we all live a fast-paced life. So I don't ever knock, pulling something off the shelf and making it. But yeah, I mean, that good, fresh, fresh chopped vegetables and all that, it does make a difference when it comes to eating bad, but yeah, definitely balance and exercise. That's important, man. You got to move, got to get moving.
Yeah, I think the biggest fault is a lot of people will blame it on the bad eating, but they're not doing the exercise. But it takes both. You know what I mean? It's a mix and match deal.
Absolutely.
One more thing, jambalaya. Where you at on that? How do you make a jambalaya?
Oh, so I have a couple videos of jambalaya.
Okay.
like I am my own way with it. I use a coated cast iron pot. I like to brown down my meats first, kind of create that crust on the bottom of the pot, then add my vegetables in, cook them down for a long time to where they get really brown. And then, from there, I use water. I don't necessarily use stock. But the reason why is because I also throw in these beef bouillon cubes, and they have a lot of sodium and they got great flavor. But I will say this too, like, and I'm not afraid to say this out loud. I throw in the kitchen bouquet just to add a little color. But there are many people down in South Louisiana that'll give me a hard time about that. Oh no, you got to brown your onions. I'm like, look, if you want to do that, then do that. But you typically need a lot of onion. And then also those people that brown a lot of onions, they usually add a stock, which adds more color too. But that's where I go with that. And then I finish mine in the oven, which I find it's very unique. Yeah, you got to use a pot that you can put in the oven. And, once I get it boiling, I cover it. I throw it in the oven at 300 degrees for an hour with the rice and all in it. And it always comes out perfect. The flavors, they cook down. I mean, it's just really good. Check out my meaty jambalaya recipe. And the cool thing about it, it's a jambalaya for anyone in their home. You don't necessarily have to have the black cast iron pot that you take outside over a burner. You can cook this jambalaya in your home, finish in the oven, and you will be impressed. I'm telling you.
I got to check that out because the oven thing that entices me. I want to check that out. I'm definitely going to check that out. Well, look, man, it was good to have you on today. I appreciate your time. I love y'all's hustle as a family, and I'm going to keep watching you, everyone. What's your any last plugs, man? I know they can find you at the Cajun Ninja on. You're on every platform.
Yeah, pretty much, man. I'm never one to say, "Oh, follow me here, follow me."
Yeah.
There. But if you Google the Cajun Ninja, you can find me. I've been blessed to have the handle on pretty much every major social media outlet. That's the craziest thing. When I say there was divine intervention here, that handle was available on all of them: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Yeah, you always had to add like a number or something, so I've been very thankful for that. But yeah, if you Google it, you can find all my social media outlets, and I appreciate anybody who tunes in.
All right, man. Well, thanks so much for coming on, and everyone, please subscribe to the podcast.
Thank you.